Hi, I'm Aidan. As a kid, you might not realize it, but Kansas has a big problem. There aren't enough people who want to do many of our important jobs. That's why Cool Careers exists, because Kansas needs more kids like you and me to someday do jobs like an agronomist, wind turbine tech, construction worker, or mental health provider. If we don't step up to fill these jobs, who will? No matter where you choose to work, you'll probably find a human resources specialist who oversees the recruitment, hiring, and retention of employees at a company or an organization like a hospital or school. Today, we're at Labette Health, a hospital in southeast Kansas that serves a 6-county area. We'll meet a human resources specialist, learn about her job, and hear why kids like you might want a career in this field. Let's go. I'd like you to meet Ashley, a human resources specialist here at Labette Health.
Hi.
Ashley, to get us started, can you tell us what it is you do as a human resources specialist? Because I hear there's a lot more to it than people think.
There certainly is. It's my job to introduce as many people as I can to jobs at Labette Health. I'm in charge of advertising open positions so people learn more about them. I often go to career fairs at schools and in communities across the state where people are looking for jobs. My team and I review the incoming applications and determine which people to interview. We schedule and conduct those interviews and help managers decide who to hire for each position. Then we get to tell the person chosen for the job that they got hired, and we get to schedule them for their new hire paperwork.
So, is human resources the same as HR? I've heard of that before.
Yes, it's oftentimes abbreviated to HR. Some companies use other terms to mean the same type of work, like talent acquisition or human capital. Whatever name is used, professionals who work in this field are all basically focused on the same thing: how to find, recruit, train, and retain employees.
Okay, that clears up that question. What else do you do?
I teach new employees about the hospital and the responsibilities of their job on their first few days of work, a process we call orientation. I also present classes for our department managers to keep them up to date on new hospital policies and procedures. I enjoy teaching our staff and getting to know them better. I'm also in charge of efforts to work with our staff to keep them happy so they want to continue working here. We plan various activities like the Easter egg hunt you will help with today. We want employees to know how much our hospital appreciates them and their hard work.
Getting to plan and host events sounds fun. I mean, who doesn't like a good party with candy and a giant rabbit? Is your job always filled with fun events?
Well, one part of my job that's not always fun, but is super important, is having hard conversations with employees and trying to resolve conflict. Sometimes I help an employee and their manager talk about serious issues that affect how well the employee does their job and look for solutions. Sometimes those conversations result in employees having to change their behaviors or take additional training. Other times, these tough conversations may lead to an employee losing their job. That can be a necessary part of making sure our patients get the very best care at our hospital.
Is it hard to fire people?
It can be, but it's my job to make sure that our patients and their family members have a good experience. Luckily, I don't have to do that part of my job very often. I get to do the more fun and happier parts more than the hard ones. Would you look at the time? I've got someone coming in for an interview in a few minutes. Would you like to join me?
Sure I would. I was hoping you'd let me help. I've prepared my own list of questions.
You did? Like what?
What happens when a chicken crosses the road? What's your favorite stuffed animal? Are you afraid of the dark? Do you watch Cartoon Network? What's your favorite sandwich? If you could ride an animal to work every day, what animal would you choose? Have you ever met Taylor Swift? Have you ever met Travis Kelce? If aliens landed on Earth, what would you ask? How much would a woodchuck chuck?
I was thinking something more along the lines of these questions. Come on, let's not keep them waiting. Hello, my name's Ashley.
Hi, my name's Ebony.
I'm Aidan. Nice to meet
Want to
you.
go ahead and have a seat? Alrighty, Ebony. Well, if you want to start out by telling me a little bit about yourself and kind of what would make you a good candidate for this housekeeping position.
Ashley and I interviewed a candidate for a housekeeping job at the hospital. She explained to me why she asked different questions and even let me ask some. So do you work well under high-pressure environments or busy work environments? Although, unfortunately, none of my fun ones.
Well, Aidan, do you have any more questions for our candidate today?
course I do. I just have a couple more questions.
Well, I think that's all the time that we have for today. Ebony, thank you so much for coming in. We'll be in touch with you in the next week or so, letting you know if you got the position.
It was cool to watch her do her job.
Well, what did you think? Would you hire her for the job?
Well, I didn't get to ask any of my questions, but okay, let's hire her.
Don't you worry, I have those saved right here for later. You know, there's one part about my job that I love that I haven't got to tell you about yet. For employees to be happy here long term, most of them will want to continue to learn new skills and get promotions and raises throughout their careers. I often help employees find additional classes they can take to learn new skills or degrees so they can qualify for better jobs. There's nothing better than helping someone succeed.
Kind of like being a school counselor, helping kids choose classes to take in the future?
Yes, I spend time during the week being a counselor or advisor, along with the many other hats that I get to wear. We have nearly 800 employees here at Labette Health, and I know about 500 of their names. Only 300 more to go. Come into my office. Let me show you where I do most of my work.
Ashley, when you were a kid, did you know you wanted to work in human resources?
Nope. When I was a kid, I thought I was going to be a nurse like my mom. Then one day we had a blood drive at school and I almost passed out. And I wasn't even the one giving blood. I realized how much I enjoyed learning about psychology and the different stages of people's lives. I ended up going to Pittsburgh State University and majoring in psychology with an emphasis in human resource development. I eventually earned a master's degree in human resources from Pitt State as well.
And the rest is history?
Pretty much. I got my first job here at the hospital as the HR assistant, and then when the HR specialist role opened up, I was promoted into that position. I've nearly been here 5 years. I think it's pretty cool that I found my way back into healthcare even though it wasn't my original plan. I'm a little afraid to ask, but do you have any questions for me? You can interview me now.
Absolutely. Are there any skills people should have if they want to be successful in human resources?
Now that's a good question. Human resources specialists need to be confident and they should enjoy talking in front of groups and have strong customer service skills. They need to be willing to have hard conversations with others and they need to be flexible because you never know what's going to happen when you come to work each day.
Do you have any recommendations for things students can do if they want a career in human resources?
Sure. Activities that build your confidence are essential. Performing arts, public speaking, and student government are great for building your skills. I also suggest taking classes in psychology and communications. You need to know how to communicate and work with all different kinds of people in this job.
Do most people who work in human resources have a master's degree like you?
Most people in human resources do have some sort of college degree, whether that be a bachelor's or a master's degree. But there is such a large need for people to go into human resources that some are getting into the field through what's called a registered apprenticeship program. That means they work with an experienced human resources professional who teaches them how to do the job for 1 to 2 years while they also take classes online. You can learn more about this alternative way into human resources at hrapprentice.org.
That's really cool. I had no idea you could learn a job like this through an apprenticeship. Ashley, I'd like to thank you and everyone here that works at Labette Health for showing me around and telling me what it's like to work in human resources. While I'm sure there are a lot of hard days, I'm sure there are a lot of happy ones too.
Yes, it's always a good day when I get to tell someone that they got a job or a promotion.
Who wouldn't like that? Learn more about this and other high-demand careers at HirePaths.com. Until next time, this is Aidan signing off for Cool Careers. Now it's time to go set up an Easter egg hunt.
Yeah!